All right, hi everybody. So we are doing our pizza box kits to go. So it's a take home and make pizza kit from our restaurants. So I'm going to see what goodies I was given today. So some good fundamental stuff right here. Looks like I have some nice basil. I don't know what we're making, so this is my first attempt at seeing what it came with. Parmesan cheese. Let's just scoop.
Just a little, just scoop it.
We'll just scoop that right up. No big deal. Because that's super important. Plus, I have about 10 pounds in my refrigerator. So we have 2 pizza doughs, some shaved Parmesan cheese to finish it. Looks like some nice, just fresh San Marzano tomatoes. Pepperoni. Ooh, a nice big ball of fresh mozzarella. Pizza sauce. Croutons. Caesar salad dressing. And a nice big bag of lettuce to make a nice Caesar salad. So, my Parmesan cheese. All of that. So this is my... This is my Caesar salad kit right here. My croutons, my dressing, and my lettuce. So that will just all get mixed into a bowl at one time. Ooh, then my favorite, a nice big giant tiramisu for dessert.
Serves one.
Serves Luca, my son. That's the only one it serves. But that you can just throw in the refrigerator or throw in the freezer if you want for much later. And then we have some regular mozzarella, which is great for melting. So, one thing I know we're gonna need that we didn't give you is just a little bowl of some bench flour. That's super important when you're making pizza. I have my oven set at like 500 degrees, so it pretty much as high as it will go. Which is fine. I have my doughs. So I'm not sure. I think I'm just going to make a margarita pizza. Maybe I can make 2. So when you get your dough, this is nice and elastic. You want to dip it into your flour. Put a little flour on your work surface. Some beautiful suave to go with it later. Or a Negroni, if you want to order one of the others from us when you're doing it. So when you're making pizza, it's really important to form your crust. And the way you form your crust is you start by just running the tips of your fingers around the outside. This also helps it stay round, but this is what really creates the crust. So I'm not going to be able to stretch this, but you would then just lightly stretch it like this. And then as you're stretching it, you work your thumb. You can see my thumbs poking through, but I'm not crimping this. I'm just stretching with my thumbs to create the pizza. So my oven, I only have, if you have a pizza stone and a peel at home, that's great. But most people do not have that. So if you did have a pizza stone and a peel, you would put this right on top of your pizza peel. I have just a nice simple pizza tin that I can put this on, that it'll bake on. And I'm gonna wanna lightly flour this. So I can go about as big as this pizza tin is. You could put a little olive oil on it if you wanted to, but we're just gonna stretch it. You can toss it, not necessary. And then what you wanna do is just lay it on here. And I'm just gonna go right to the edge. And then we're gonna get a spoon. And then we have our pizza sauce. This pizza sauce is perfect. It should be a little bit watery. And I'm like old school, so I don't love a lot of sauce. I like just enough to coat the pizza. And if you go too far on the edge, it will retard the crust. The crust won't rise as much if you get the sauce on the side of the crust. So I like to just leave enough room so If you like a bigger, thicker crust, you can leave less sauce in the middle. I'm gonna just add a teeny bit more. And then I'm going to add, Sean at Luca will always tell you, I love my cheese on my pizza. I hate a skimpy cheese pizza. And I know that the true Neapolitan pizza people are telling me that, you know, you shouldn't do that, but take my fresh mozzarella. Like, the Neapolitan pizza guys are probably like, okay, this is enough cheese. No, that's not true. Not in my book. I like my pizza to have cheese on it. So I'm gonna get pretty liberal with the cheese, and then I'm gonna add a bunch of fresh mozz on top. So this mozz is actually, we say it's fresh mozz. We made it probably yesterday. It's still sitting in the water, but it's not like it's super fresh and warm where it's gonna create a lot of water on the pizza when we bake it. So just, you know, I'm not gonna use all this as much as I'd like to. And then we have our San Marzano tomatoes, and what we do with these are canned San Marzano tomatoes. We take them out, we drain the water off of them, and we use that to create our pizza sauce, the leftover water from it, with San Marzano tomato puree. So I just like to put a few dollops of these fresh tomatoes, or not fresh, but canned tomatoes, right on top. And that gives it just like that sweet bite to it. And then I do want to put
more cheese.
Well, you gotta have Parmesan cheese. That's what gets nice and crispy on it. And then this is extra virgin olive oil. Just gonna drizzle a little bit of that on there. So sometimes you think pizza's like greasy, but sometimes with good ingredients like this, it's actually the extra virgin olive oil. And then a nice pinch of salt. And we top this off with some fresh basil. And I love a lot of basil. So, and now I'm just gonna pop this in. It looks like a lot of cheese. It's not that much cheese, but I'm gonna pop this in a 500-degree oven. And I'm gonna go right on the top shelf and put that in. It's probably gonna take about 5 or 6 minutes. So, if you don't have one of those rounds, you can easily use a cookie sheet. So, the boys are here. Since Jacqueline is a vegetarian, we'll go ahead and we'll make a pepperoni pizza. Same thing. So instead of putting it down and doing that, you can just do it with your thumbs and create that crust. So you can see there's a nice indentation and a little fluff of where I was doing that. So I'm creating it because a lot of people like to do this when they're doing it. Now I won't have good crust there. Like you'll even see when this is finished baking. So give it a few pulls. Then just some stretches. A little bit of flour down just so it doesn't stick. You can use cornmeal if you have that. A lot of places use cornmeal. Not a big fan of cornmeal. Feel like that's cheating. It's not the New Jersey way to do it. So I'll stretch my pizza out. Put my sauce down. This will probably come out better if you do have a pizza stone, and you can put this on a peel and slide it into a pizza stone that's at 500 degrees. You're still gonna get great crust. You're not gonna get great bottom crust. That's the only difference. You may get a little sogginess. Or as an old friend used to say, Tucker, it could be a little flaccid. I am a firm believer in the pepperoni going on the bottom, underneath the cheese, And the reason I like that is because as the pepperoni cooks, the grease, which is good, from the pepperoni kind of stays under the cheese. Spread out your cheese.
Is pepperoni at the bottom like a Jersey thing?
I don't know where the heck that's from. I picked that up somewhere, but I don't know if it is a Jersey thing. I'm gonna add a little bit of fresh mozz to this as well, because I have it, and if you have fresh mozzarella, you might as well use it, right? Because it's so good. Break that all up. Little drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, just in case the pepperoni doesn't have enough grease. Pinch of salt. Black pepper. I put Parmesan cheese on here. That couldn't hurt. And then I'll put this in the oven, and I'll put this one on the underneath of it. And this goes in. And we can take a look. Our other pizza is probably about halfway there. And what we want to do is spin it so I can pull it out. And you can see, so I want to give it a spin so that it's cooking evenly in my oven. Maybe not push it in so far. And give that pizza probably needs about another 3 or 4 minutes. All right, it has been about 7 or 8 minutes. So I'm gonna take our first pizza out. And that is burning right through that rag. So this is pretty hot. Looks pretty good.
Yum.
So we bring it over here. I definitely like to let it rest for just a minute or two before you cut it. I mean, you could eat this now anyway, but just something fun to invest in that everybody should have is a pizza cutter. And especially when you do it on this round, just go through, super decisive, bam. Not that important that you cut through the crust when you're cutting pizza, because almost every normal person goes and breaks the pizza at the crust. Or any person that's ever eaten pizza that doesn't eat it with a knife and a fork. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So this is how our first pizza came out. Way too hot to eat. We can check on our second pizza. That was underneath, so it was on the bottom shelf. So I can pull that one out. And you can see, because I baked them, I'll put this one on the top shelf now. And it'll probably bake a little bit quicker because the top of the oven is always a little hotter than the other oven. All right, so we'll check on our second pizza. Ooh, our pepperoni. So see, you don't need a fancy pan, fancy round pan. A cookie sheet works just as well. Jacqueline will probably not be happy because she always says when I bake things that are not cookies on our cookie sheets, I ruin them, but I think pizza qualifies as something good. So we have our 2 pizzas. These you can make at home. Giant Caesar salad that you can make with it, and monster tiramisu for 1. So, I mean, this tiramisu, really, I mean, maybe 1.5 people. I mean, you can see it's about the size of my forearm. So, delicious full meal. You can get these at Milk Market. You can make them yourself. They're super easy, super fresh, fun. If you let your kids stretch the dough, just don't expect them to be round. And even if you stretch them, it's okay if they're not round. You could stretch these out and put them in a sheet tray and make it a Sicilian pie and make a square pie. Because no matter how bad pizza is, all pizza is pretty damn good. So thanks so much. Go to denvermilkmarket.com if you want to order one of our kits, especially the pizza kit, and take it home and have a fun evening at home.